Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to the beautiful Lawfolds, Scotland map here that we have been playing for quite some time. This is episode number 49, and we're going to get right to work because we have a hired worker that's helping us out this morning, uh, doing a little cultivation on our last field that we need to seed. Well, let me rephrase that. It is the last field that we need to seed for this game day. This is the same game day that we were in for episode number 48, and I said that, well, possibly the that would be the last episode for this game day, but I wanted to go ahead and provide an episode for cover, or for basically seeding this very last field here of any importance. Let me just bring up the map here, and you can see that we really have two fields left, field number 26 and field number 30. You might remember from last season, from last year, field number 30 was sugar beets, I believe. And so what we're going to do is we're basically planting, I'm predicting, and no, by the way, I have not looked at the XML files to try to predict any sort of great demand or anything like that. But I'm sort of predicting that soybeans in Scotland are going to be our cash crop this year. It may turn out that way. It may not be that way. Again, I promise I have not looked at the XML. I've not done anything to try to basically set that up to have that occur. It's just that, I kind of like soybeans. I kind of like planting them, harvesting them, etc. And so let's just go ahead and get our seeder going here. Are we down? There we go. Okay. I just like harvesting soybeans, and since we lost our soybean field, the really big one there on Pine Cove, and we didn't get an opportunity to harvest soybeans, then we've got three fields here on this map to sort of make up for that. And so soybeans are kind of a cool crop, and I certainly don't mind harvesting them, and hopefully, maybe, just maybe, they will be as as um, as good of an investment as I'm hoping that they will be. So keep your fingers and toes crossed, and I'll do the same here, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get a lot of money here on our soybeans. So we found a young lady that needed a job, and so basically she is doing our cultivation for us over there in our big New Holland tractor. So cool stuff. So anyway, hope you all are having a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and all of that good stuff. I do say that almost every episode, but I do actually mean it as well. So we'll go ahead and pull our thing off there, and we will go every other row. I think maybe we can kind of keep up with this. We will certainly try. Nope, that is B. I guess I didn't lift the seeder after all. My bad. Gosh, I'm so bad. Alright, we're locked in. We're getting all of our buttons figured out here on this Saturday morning. It is Saturday morning. It is the 22nd of April. I'm probably going to stop telling you what day of the week it is, maybe, when I'm recording, because I'm trying to build up a little bit of buffer of episodes, because I've got some travel that's coming up again. Not as extensive as my previous travel has been, but I do want to build up just a little bit of a buffer of episodes, because I'm going to have a lot of work to do. I'm going to have some long weekends at the office as well. We've got some IT changes coming up, and if you're in the IT world, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oftentimes our work that we have to do it after after users leave, and basically when our users are not logged into the systems and such. And so that typically means late Friday nights, and it typically means the occasional Saturday, and even sometimes Sunday. Now, of course, Sunday is not. Hopefully, Sunday's not going to be a thing with regards. And I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to fill this row here in because she is not going to be ready for me to do the other row there. Anyway, so I do have a couple of weekends where I've got some late Friday evenings and then some follow-up on Saturday, and so that's really going to cut into my recording time. And believe it or not, I know that, you know, sometimes folks will say, you know, especially the YouTubers that are kind of going hot and heavy with recording and trying to maintain, you know, either a 7-day schedule or a 6-day schedule or a 5-day schedule. Well, hopefully nobody's really doing a 7-day schedule, even if YouTube is their full-time job. I really hope that they are at least taking 1 day to themselves, maybe even 2. But I really enjoy this. I enjoy playing, not only playing the game, but I also enjoy bringing you episodes and engaging with you. And let me take a drink of coffee here. All right, no, that wasn't a really long drink of coffee. I was just trying to wait for her to swing her cultivator and tractor around so that I could grab that screenshot that I so enjoy getting. So anyway, that's sort of the world of IT. If you're not familiar with that, that's, you know, if you often hear about IT guys talking about, well, you know, it's Friday, but that doesn't mean that my evening is going to end, or my work schedule, my work shift is going to end at 5 o'clock. Oftentimes it goes, 6, 7, 8, midnight, 1, 2. In my earlier, younger days, or I should say more junior days working in the IT industry, I've been in IT for almost 30 years, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 26 to 27. I would have to look at my at the calendar and sort of really think about really when I got into it hot and heavy. But it's been 26 to 27 years, just kind of thinking off the top of my head here. And of course, in my more junior time, when I was, you know, the young man on the totem pole, so to speak, oftentimes, you know, it was a lot of overnighters. It was a lot of coming in at Friday. Maybe if I had a boss that was a bit understanding, it would mean coming in on Fridays, maybe just before lunchtime, maybe around 10 o'clock in the morning or so, and oftentimes, not actually walking out of the office building until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And there have been many times where, you know, I have walked out after very long IT change type operations, or if we were moving into like a new facility, which I've actually done twice now. I've worked with different companies moving into brand new data centers. Oftentimes that's, you know, you're going in and you're coming out 12 to 14, 15 hours later, trying to get everything done, because again, we have to get things done. We have to do our work when the users are not there, when the systems are not being utilized. And of course, that's a little harder to do in a 24-hour company, or a 24-hour type operation where the company is 24/7 with, you know, multiple sites across the country, or even multiple sites around the globe. Of course, the company I work for now, we've got major data centers spread out all over the world, all over the globe. Here in the U.S., just as far as our footprint, we've got 3 different data centers that have some redundant systems and such in it, and for either for load balancing or for redundancy purposes. And so it really does sort of help take some of that strain off, and so we can do maintenance on a site, or, you know, a network infrastructure, something like that, in one facility, and not necessarily have to take down the entire global operation. So anyway, our every other row process really isn't working out, because I think we're moving a little bit faster than she is, but not a problem. So I do want to, we've got a little bit of news from Cattle and Crops. You know, as April was starting to really slip by awfully quick, I was starting to wonder, are we going to get an update? Are we going to get any sort of information out of the Cattle and Crop guys? Because I had once heard that we could expect about a 2-week warning, of when they were expected to basically release the early access stuff to us. And no, I'm not telling you that we've had that 2-week warning. Let me repeat that and just say that no, this is not the 2-week warning. But I was starting to become a little bit concerned because again, I had heard that we would get possibly a 2-week warning that would say, you know, Cattle and Crops early access will be available in 2 weeks. And so I was sort of expecting, if they were planning a 1st of May release for the early access, I was hoping that around the middle point of April that we would get that, and we didn't. And we actually haven't had a whole lot of commentary or any sort of updates or anything from the Cattle and Crop guys on, you know, regarding the early access, wrong button, regarding the early access, or regarding sort of the progress that's being made. Well, we do have something here, and let me just swing around and let me get back on my GPS here, and let me go ahead and drop our seeder down, and let me start off here. So this is directly from Master Brain, who is identified as an administrator. So this is the Cattle and Crops, you know, forum username or whatever. So it says, just so you have almost no reason to think we'd spend all of our time on the moon. So that was that sort of that April Fool's thing that they came out with. We've dedicated our in almost all areas of the game. The AI turn maneuvers are being optimized. At the same time, we're integrated an info HUD system that'll deliver all kinds of messages and info flashes to the player. Our level designers are concentrating all their brain power on LOD, that's level of detail, and performance improvements, but also the extension of the road system, including texture layers and the optimization of the village, and they have the word clustering in parentheses. In addition, we've updated the roadmap today and added further program entries. Have a nice weekend. So, to my knowledge, it has been several weeks since we've heard boo from the Cattle and Crops folks, and a lot of that was sort of centered around that moon April Fool's joke thing, which I've got to say, you know, that's funny, haha. I think I probably talked about maybe a little bit before April Fool's Day about how I sort of am over the whole, you know, April Fool's thing with you know, software developers and all this kind of stuff, because, you know, I've been playing simulation-based games for a long time, and I've seen just about every April Fool's joke that you could imagine, and of course, you know, new ideas and all this kind of stuff that are just kind of silly. I mean, the Giants thing, Giants put out that sort of in-home scent thing. I mean, so with Cattle and Crops doing the moon thing, as long as they didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, because let's face it, they are working for us. I mean, we have, those of us that have participated in the early adopter, the early access program, are funding this thing. You know, we're funding this thing straight up. And so, you know, as sort of an investor, you know, I don't mind that, you know, they have a little bit of fun and everything, and I'm still okay. I'm still okay with the delay. I'm still, you know, I would rather have a solid working game for early access to really be able to sort of get my, you know, sink my teeth into, to really sort of try to get an understanding of what, you know, what I can expect from the full-blown game when that comes out in the fall or in the winter, or, you know, even if it's next year. Whatever the case is, you know, I'm okay with it. As I've said, I will, even if we're looking at, um, even if we're looking at mid-May or even June, dare I say, even if it's June 1 when early access comes out, I'm okay with that. That would have been technically, 2 months delayed, because if we were expecting early access to come about in March, even if their thought date was kind of the end of March, we would have waited through all of April, and if June 1st is that day, all of May, obviously. So it'll be whatever it'll be. Um, I'm still comfortable with everything. Um, I'm still thinking that this is still going to be one of the greatest things since sliced bread, all that kind of stuff. So I'm okay with it all. But I know some folks might be getting a bit antsy about it, but I think one thing that the Cattle and Crops team really should do, and they should probably do this now, pretty much starting now, is they really need to be updating all of us on a regular basis. I don't know if, right now, once a week might be a little bit perhaps overkill, but I would say, every 2 weeks, put out a communication, maybe even a direct email, um, and let us know what's going on. I know that they're updating the roadmap continuously, constantly, um, and there's a lot of information in that roadmap, but there's a lot of information that isn't necessarily as plentiful or as complete as what a sort of email communication would be if they were to do that on a regular basis. So hopefully they would consider that. I think if that were my project, if I were running this thing, that's what I would be doing. I would have a communication marketing person, whoever is sort of responsible for that. I would task them with, every week putting out a communication. Probably I would have had them doing that every 2 weeks after the delay, just to say, these are the things that we have accomplished in the last 2 weeks. These are the things that we have on our radar for the upcoming 2 weeks, and maybe even look out another 2 or 3 weeks beyond that. And then around this stage of time, I would probably have that person doing a weekly email blast or something or another, just to basically let people know that we do care about you. We do recognize the fact that you are investors. You are the reason why we've been able to get this far. They can't forget that. They can't forget that, they basically came to us saying, we have this concept, we have this idea, we are basically fellow farm agricultural based simulation enthusiasts, and we have been playing the games that have been available, in other words, giants. We have been playing that game all along. We see where the potential could be for the future. We, all these other things that they have told us, we all reached in our back pockets and pulled out our credit cards, our hard-earned money, and we've, given that to them so that they could go about helping all of us also make our dreams come true as well. Because, many of us that are so excited about the whole cattle and crops idea are also wanting the exact same things. We're wanting the exact same things from an agricultural based simulation game that they want to try to provide to us in that platform. So it's a win-win kind of thing. And so, I say, tell us how you doing, and keep us posted on it all. So anyway, I'm actually gonna pause just a little bit here. You're not gonna really recognize anything, but what I want to do is I want to let her get a little bit ahead of me, and then I will come back in with an edit and be able to make a little bit more progress, and maybe even do every other row thing for just a little bit. So I'll be right back with you here in just a minute. All right, and we're back after that little break. Yeah, she didn't really make as much progress as I had hoped that she would do. So we may not be able to go to every other row just yet, and still fit into my schedule of getting some things done on this Saturday morning. The weather has just been absolutely crummy the last couple of days, but I almost celebrate it. I know a few of you also suffer from seasonal allergies just like I do, and so we've had some rain that has hit in the Denver, Colorado area, and actually it started raining on Thursday, and so it rained overnight last night as well, and so I'm actually all for that. I not only is it good for us here in this climate, because if we don't have a lot of moisture, then the other thing that starts happening, especially in the higher country, is we start running the risk of forest fires, and that is just, there have been some years where our forest fire danger levels have actually been at the very high level in as early as the March-April timeframe, and that's awfully scary, because if we're in that big of a danger and we've actually had fires that early before, it sort of is an indicator that it's going to be a really bad touch and go summer. So it's we sort of hope for that we sort of transition from winter with a lot of snowpack and everything in the high country, which also obviously helps, into either continued snow through the spring, I'm talking about the high country, and then transitioning into a rainy spring. But sometimes the snow sort of stops in the early spring, and we don't get the rain in the high country, and things start to dry out, and we get warmer, high seasonal temperatures and such, and so that danger creeps up. We'll see if we can do this row here and see how that looks for us. So I often get asked about my GPS sounds, why my GPS sounds different when I engage it than maybe your GPS sounds. This is a modded version which is available through, you go to my website, grizzlybearsims.com. Again, that's grizzlybearsims.com, and look in the upper right-hand corner for my mod and add-on directory, and that'll take you to my mod spreadsheet. Down at the bottom, click on FarmSim 17, and then look through the upper portion of that spreadsheet, and you'll see the GPS mod listed with John Deere sounds, and so that is the mod. And so it just has a little bit different. Well, actually, it has the real life John Deere sounds for the GPS. So that's the reason why it sounds different. It's nothing that I've done special, other than just downloading that mod. I believe for FarmSim 15, and it may even be true for 17 as well, but somebody's just obviously made it easier for us. But I believe in 15, people were basically replacing the sound files in the mod itself, in the GPS mod for FarmSim 15, with these John Deere sounds. But somebody released the mod for 17 with those sounds already in it. So just go to my spreadsheet and look for that, and you'll find that. And as a matter of fact, again, just sort of as a reminder to you, if you do see a mod that I'm using in any of my map Let's Plays, or in my mod reviews, or in my tutorials, most likely you will find there's a 99.9% chance that you'll find that mod on my mod spreadsheet. That 1% chance that you're not going to find a mod on my mod spreadsheet will be related to the Seasons mod, because that is a work in progress mod, and it's a mod that the season's development team does not want it to go out sort of, prime time for everybody just yet. As far as an ETA for that date, I still don't know. But they've made wonderful progress with it, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, folks. Please cross your fingers, your toes, your arms, your legs, everything else, your ponytails, that we're not going to run into those same problems here on Lawfolds with crops not coming available for harvest in enough time to be able to harvest them. These would be sort of the crops, the stuff that we're planting today. If things occur like they did on Pine Cove, then maybe everything that we have seeded in the last couple of episodes on this particular game day may not even be available for harvest. But I'm hopeful that whatever last version of the mod that I put in, I'm hopeful that was long enough ago, because remember, I sort of got these episodes between Pine Cove and Lawfolds. I had got them sort of at opposite ends of each other, if you understand what I mean by that, where we weren't doing the same thing in each of the series. Now, of course, I can't really control that, as we've just started out with Lone Star. We obviously are in the spring on Lone Star. We're in mid-spring on Lone Star, so basically one game day behind this series. So what I'm hoping to do is I'm actually hoping to put a live stream up later this morning, and again, it will be in the past when you guys finally get around to watching this. But I'm hoping to do a live stream on this map on Lawfolds. We'll probably mow on it, because we've done a lot of mowing in the Let's Play series, and do that on the live stream and go ahead and mow our grass field over there to go ahead and get that turned into a small portion of grass and mostly hay. We've still got almost a full trailer load of actually, I think it is a full trailer load of silage bales still parked on the field from last year. So silage is going to be okay for us. We'll probably add a little bit of silage maybe to it. But go ahead and do that off camera. That way I can try to get to a point where that I can sort of quickly go through the next few game days, which don't really, there's not a lot for us to do other than tending to the animals and of course cut grass and everything. But if I do that on a live stream, get that sort of done, get that out of the way, since you've already seen me do it on this map, then we should be able to quickly get into the harvest season on Lawfolds. And then that way we're not doing the same things on the two different series, because I know that that could be kind of boring. I have followed in the past other YouTubers that have basically that are doing multiple maps, and when they're essentially doing multiple maps, that's cool, because I like to see, obviously I like to see the different maps and everything. But if they're doing the exact same things, so if they're seeding on Colebrook Park Farm on one episode and they're also seeding on Sandy Bay or harvesting or whatever, if it's the same thing, then it gets a little bit old. So I'm trying to obviously get us to a point to where that's not possible, or that's not occurring. But having said that, because of the way that Pine Cove Farm ended, had Pine Cove Farm not basically had the growth cycles and everything not got out of sync or basically broke, what would have ended up happening is we would have continued Lawfolds and Pine Cove Farm until Pine Cove Farm had basically got into, through winter. And the first day, my original plan was play it through winter, play it through the first game day of spring, just to do the checks and balances to verify that we did all the right things as far as how much hay we collected and silage and all those kind of things, rely on our industry for our winter survival and everything, do those kind of things, and then and then basically on the first game day of spring, verify all that, and then basically say, sort of say goodbye to Pine Cove, and then we would have geared up Lone Star to come in right behind Pine Cove, which would have put us in the spring. We would have been, as far as Lawfolds goes, if all that plan would have worked, we would have been just starting to come into the harvest season. You see what I mean? And so, but unfortunately, the way Pine Cove Farm occurred, and and you guys have been very understanding about that. I've got to say, I've not had any complaints or any legitimate complaints as far as ending that series, because I think you all also know that farming is it's the main reason why we do this. And so because we weren't able to sort of finish our farming tasks that we needed to do, i.e. our our crop stuff, it was just really going to be sort of it just wasn't going to be fun. Is what I'm sort of getting at. And so I appreciate. Plus, I think a lot of you were really looking forward to seeing Lone Star. I was really looking forward to playing it, and so it has been a brilliant map. And of course, I've spent I spent about 7 or 8 hours sort of off camera in the very beginning. I did do a live stream setting up some stuff, but got everything, all the fields plowed, or most all the fields plowed and everything. But I was really excited about getting started on the on the Let's Plays. And so I've got to date, and of course this is Saturday the 22nd of April. To date, I've recorded 2 Let's Plays, episode 1, episode 2. At this particular point in time, again, Saturday the 22nd of April, you guys have only seen episode 1. Episode 2 of Lone Star will come out on Tuesday, and I will continue to alternate. So one week you're going to get 3 episodes of Lawfolds. So the week that you're actually watching this episode, you're getting 3 episodes of Lawfolds. And so, and then the alternating week, you will get 2 episodes. And I think that worked out pretty well, alternating between Lawfolds and Pine Cove. 3 episodes one week, 2 episodes the next week, for a total of 5 episodes Monday through Friday, and then a tutorial or something usually I have pushed out on Saturday afternoons. So I'm trying to maintain that schedule. But like I said, I've got some things coming up on the horizon that I'm trying to prepare for. So sort of think of me as like well, I'm a grizzly bear by nature, but think of it as like maybe a squirrel or something. I'm trying to hoard some nuts, because I want to stock up my pantry with some nice pecans or something because of winter coming on or whatever. But yeah, I am trying to stockpile a few episodes in advance. I don't want to get so far ahead that I'm not able to talk about things that might be breaking as far as news, whether it's related to cattle and crops or even giant stuff. I mean, let's face it, I'm excited about the Big Bud DLC. I'm not excited about it for the Big Bud, the actual Big Bud tractors, although I think our dealership there on Lone Star is going to ask us to be one of their sort of one of their reference customers. So there is talk about, as soon as they get delivery of the Big Bud tractor, that they will have one there, and they want us to use it for just a little while and test it and actually be a reference customer, since they have been so appreciative for all the business that we have been giving them in recent weeks there on Lone Star. But no, definitely looking at the equipment, the other equipment, the seeders and stuff like that. That's really going to be where I think my interest lies with the Big Bud DLC. But we'll see. Again, I'm not that excited about the Big Bud tractor itself. I had the Big Bud tractor itself in Farm Sim 15. I saw somebody using it, and so I thought, okay, well, I'm going to grab that and I'm going to use it. And I think I used it on maybe Oklahoma, either Oklahoma or States or Graceland, one of those really, really big, massive maps with the massive fields. And I just wasn't, I mean, again, I just wasn't that impressed with the tractor itself. I think it's a rather ugly tractor. I mean, these types of tractors, the fence, the New Hollands, the Case, the Masseys, obviously the Challengers, the John Deeres, anything else. These are works of, and yes, the JCBs for my very good friend Mike Reefy, 1952. These are very beautiful tractors, very beautiful works of art, and both made true to life in the real world, but also very well scaled and very well done here in the virtual world as well. They're just beautiful pieces of machinery. The Big Bud, not so much. Of course, it's not designed to be. It's not designed to necessarily be beautiful. It's not designed to be sleek, and it's not designed to be fast. I was watching a video from, I'm not gonna mention names or anything like that, but I was watching a sort of a mod review of the Big Bud tractor, the actual modded one, the one that's available free. And the person was talking about the fact that it wasn't a fast tractor, and almost, at least the impression I got from them was that they were somewhat complaining about the fact that it wasn't a fast tractor. There is a trade-off. Something that is truly powerful is often not going to be very fast. Something that is designed to be very fast is not necessarily designed to also be very powerful. So there is that trade-off. There is that sort of that understanding that the Big Bud tractor, the Challengers, those kind of things, they are designed for brute force pulling power. They're not designed for speed. They're not going to be the fast, quick little thing that is going to be fast and agile, whether it be on the roads or on the fields or whatever. If you want something that's fast, you're going to have to go with something that's designed for that capacity. Now, that's not to say that, for example, the JCB Fast Track is not a powerful tractor, but it's not going to do the same things. It's not going to have the brute force pulling power that the Big Bud has, but yet it beats it on speed. So there is that trade-off, and it's all about the right tool for the right job. And so the Big Bud in real life, and if you go out to YouTube and just search for, tell you what, if you search for Big Bud in Montana, you will probably find a YouTube channel that is a family farming operation based in Montana, and they have several, I mean, like more than 2 or 3 Big Bud tractors, and they have videos showing the Big Bud, all sorts of different videos. I watched a video where they were actually rebuilding a Big Bud tractor, and but they have videos where they're showing using the Big Bud, oops, wrong button again, Jerry, showing the Big Bud tractor being used for seeding and all sorts of different things. And so check that out, Big Bud, Montana, and you will probably find that farm. I think it's like Welker or Velker Family Farm, something like that. Anyway, you'll see that. So we are just almost done. I'm looking over at my timer, and of course I did not stop my timer when I took that very short break, so we're going to be a little bit over 30 minutes for this episode, but I've had a lot to sort of share with you on the cattle and crops side of things, and I suppose my apologies for for talking so much about something that's not necessarily related to giants, but I know that many of you that watch my channel are anxiously awaiting cattle and crops. And even if you don't plan to buy cattle and crops, even if you are thinking to yourself, you know, Giants does everything that I need it to do for me right now, and I'm just not really interested in another you know, agricultural based simulation game, then that's okay. But think of it this way. And certainly I'm not going to tell you that you need to basically buy cattle and crops or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you that the great thing about cattle and crops is that I really think it's going to force a change. It's going to force a change with how with our expectations and with basically how Giants is more or less evolving their version of their agricultural based game, i.e. Farm Sim, you know, 17. The future will be obviously Farm Sim 19. So it is all very much sort of a, you know, hand in glove kind of thing, that, let me lift that up, that you know, what we get from cattle and crops will be of benefit to everyone with Farm Sim 19, because I really truly think and believe that Giants they really must up their game on Farm Sim 19 to really be able to please at least a portion of their community, a portion of their customer base. If they come out with the exact same thing, if they just basically take Farm Sim 17, add a new map, add another crop type or two, and maybe obviously include all the DLC which has been released for Farm Sim 17, include that in the base of Farm Sim 19, which they have historically done. If that's all they do, then they're going to lose a lot of their customer base, possibly even including yours truly, myself, just simply because I really think that where, you know, where they are, where things are with regards to these agricultural based simulation games, I think that it has been said many times, and you know, the users have more or less spoken, that we want something that's a lot more robust. We want better things. We want better management. We want all these kind of things. And so they're going to need to deliver on that, because otherwise, if they just come out with something very similar to what they did with 17, and I know that there's a little bit of differences in here, and I'm happy for those differences. I love Farm Sim 17. Don't get me wrong. I am not I'm not bashing Giants or anything for that nature. The only thing that I'm highly disappointed in is the fact that they did not do any work to their controller support. I'm very disappointed as a customer. I am very disappointed in the fact that they essentially rolled out with Farm Sim 17 almost the exact same controller support that they had in 15. I'm very disappointed in that. If I had been, you know, part of the project team or the lead, you know, thinker as far as what 17 was going to be, I would have completely revamped that, because it is just hard as heck to try to get your controllers, your Logitech wheels, your Logitech joysticks and everything working, and it's so easy to do it with other games like Euro Truck Simulator 2, American Truck Simulator. So that's my only big disappointment there, because obviously, you know, a company like this, and it's very much like this in the larger, you know, commercial IT development, software development organizations and such, like for my company, we really start working on something, you know, years in advance. So let's just hypothetically say that, okay, you know, when Cattle and Crops first debuted and started talking about what they were going to put into their game, Giants would have been well into the development of Farm Sim 17. And it's quite possible that the ideas, the things that they wanted to put into Farm Sim 17 had already been baked in, and it was too late to basically change course. It would have resulted in probably a major delay. It would have probably resulted in some problems, things like that. But having said all of that, now that now that Giants should very well know what is on Kettle and Crops' radar for Farm Sims 19, which obviously is still a ways away. So they should come out with something that's basically gonna essentially blow our socks off as it relates to what we've been used to with Farm Sim 13, 15, 17, etc. Okay, that's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, well, folks, I'm not going to refill this because this may be the last time that we have used this seeder. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to plant sugar beets. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do on field number 30, and I will either do this on the next game day or I'll do it off camera, is I'm thinking about putting soybeans on field number 30 just as a test to see if we also lose them as part of kind of what we experienced with Pine Cove when we planted soybeans on the first game day of summer. We should have been able to, based on, if I pull up the thing here, the chart, we should have been able to. This is the first game day of summer. This is soybeans. We should have been able to plant those and expect those to come to harvest, but obviously that didn't happen. They actually disappeared in the middle of the night because our good friend Mike, Reefy1952, came and borrowed them, stole them. That's just a joke, by the way. He really didn't do that, but they did disappear, and the Seasons Mod team was well aware of what caused that, and I think that they put the fix and everything into the version of the mod that I'm using. So my voice is about to go out, I think, and I need to get some of my Saturday chores going. So I will also have my fingers crossed. I'm going to do a live stream later today as well on this map. So thank you all so much for watching. Please, please, please share us with, or share me on your social media stuff, your Twitter, your Facebook, stuff like that. Tell your friends, your fellow people that you know that enjoy this game. Tell them about the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. And by the way, Grizzly Bear Sims is on Facebook, so if you are on Facebook and you want to follow my Facebook page, just look for Grizzly Bear Sims and you should be able to find that. I think it might be down in the notes of the episodes. I'm not sure. If it's not, I'll try to remember to put that there. And also, Grizzly Bear Sims is on Twitter. So thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful upcoming weekend. May is just around the corner. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you all the very next episode. And by the way, the very next episode will be the Big 5-0. Later, dudes. Take care. Bye-bye.